budget process is underway in many communities. What's happening in your town? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Mayor Paul Medany of Deptford. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
You've proposed a $30 million approximately budget, and let's talk a little bit about what this budget actually means. You are calling for no cuts in services, but you actually have a surplus at this point. It's a $4.7 million surplus. How are you able to have money in reserves?
We built that up through the last couple of years in anticipating certain revenues. So our surplus is very important to have. A lot of people don't understand what it is, but it does. One thing it's going to do for Deptford Township is it's going to protect us from tax appeals. We still have numerous state tax appeals that we have to save money for. It's kind of saying that, like in your household budget, you wouldn't want your savings account to go down to zero.
So that's where we are right now, that the overall proposed budget, $30 million, and then you have this a surplus as well. Let's talk a little bit about the budget itself. You're not calling for any cuts in services, and you say you've actually been able to save money through attrition and retirements.
We have, because attrition, and what that means is people have been retiring through the years. In the last 3 years, we've lost about 26 employees, including police officers, to retirement who we haven't replaced. So that certainly puts a strain on the employees that are left to pick up the slack, which they're doing an excellent job on. But it saved us a tremendous amount of money in salaries and benefits.
Now, when we talk about a township of your size, 25, 26 employees retiring, not being replaced, how many employees are still currently on the books?
Well, on the books, we have about 170 employees, and that's counting the police and public works and the clerical and everybody together, which it's quite a sizable employment force. And they're doing a great job picking up the slack.
Now, let's talk about some of the other things that have happened. You've actually renegotiated some contracts. What kind of difference has that made?
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to fix some of the sins of the past. And, you know, it's a balancing act, obviously, in negotiations. We want to make sure that we treat our employees fairly. On the other hand, we have to treat the taxpayers and the residents fairly, too. So we think we saved a couple bucks in our contract negotiations.
Talk to us a little bit about consolidated positions. This goes back to the idea of not having as many people on staff.
Yeah, what we did was, especially with some of our department heads, they've picked up other duties to do. Instead of us hiring another department head, we've consolidated some duties, and that's simply what that did, and it worked out well so far.
We've talked about this in the past, but shared services, is this something that you're continuing to pursue?
We are. As a matter of fact, last week we just had another shared services meeting between us, the school district, and the fire district, and we talked about more things that we can share interlocally, plus we share with the county too a lot. The county, Gloucester County, is good at shared services.
Now, in addition to all of this, you do have fixed costs. What do they include, and are you seeing increases in things like your health care costs, fuel costs, and the like?
Sure. Health insurance goes up every year. It's simply almost out of control. But we have pension costs. We have other things that people don't think about. Our street light bill alone's over $400,000. We pay gasoline, we pay, phone bills. Everything that takes to operate government goes up.
Now, talk to us a little bit about the proposed increase in your local purpose tax. What can taxpayers anticipate this year?
Right now, and we just had a preliminary budget meeting, and we're talking about a 2-cent increase, which is about, on the average person's tax bill, it's going to be about $40 a year, which is less than $1 a week, and that's only proposed. Council's still looking at it. We're still hoping to whittle that down a little bit more.
And what's the time frame for the budget?
Well, the dates change all the time. We're supposed to introduce, I think, this year, March 15th. But the budget won't be done because the state has to pass their budget for us to get our final figures in. The county, the school, everybody has to pass their budgets first.
All right, thanks so much for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
We've been talking with Mayor Paul Medany of Deptford. I'm Jill Horner.